A wife who has devoted herself to her family for 20 years will be abandoned by her husband because she is uneducated. This woman, Anna, was once a great dancer. At the age of 19, she had the chance to go on to a bigger stage, but she had a baby by accident. She dropped out of school and followed her husband to Germany. But now her husband thinks she's uneducated and is ready to divorce as soon as her son goes to college. After 20 years of being a housewife, Anna is devoted to her husband and son and has nothing else. Even the cell phone she carries with her is her husband's leftover. After signing the divorce papers, Anna was upset and approached her best friend, who is now the director of a dance academy, to discuss a plan to stop her husband's divorce. But her best friend thinks Anna is crazy that Anna, who owns her husband's house, car and even cell phone, is not planning for her future but is planning to go to college secretly to avoid a divorce. Anna said that only a married person can understand that a woman like her best friend who is full of career will not understand her. That night, Anna stood at the window early waiting for her husband and son to come home, and as soon as she saw them downstairs, she immediately went to the door to greet them. But her son didn't even look at her, and her husband complained that he only cared about making dinner. Back in the room, her husband emphasized that they were divorced and pushed Anna's bed to the other side of the wall with nausea and comfortably took off the wedding ring on her hand. Anna unconsciously covered her hand with the ring. Her husband said, "We're divorced. Take off your ring." Anna reluctantly took off her wedding ring, and so Anna had to go out every day to attend lectures and study hard in addition to doing the housework. While preparing breakfast, she was still secretly memorizing vocabularies, even in order to study a little longer without being discovered. She squatted on the toilet in the wee hours of the morning and studied with her nose bleeding. She was still watching the teacher's videos. Finally, on the day of the college entrance exam, Anna dropped her son off and sneaked into her best friend's car. After a period of hard work, she got a good grade in the college entrance exam. Even when applying for schools, she was teased by her best friend that the school she applied to where her husband worked was in the philosophy department, which was her son's favorite subject. Anna was full of hope when she checked the admission status, but as a housewife, she unexpectedly failed the examination. Seeing that her marriage was in jeopardy, she burst into tears. Back home, she wiped the tears from her face, happily congratulated her son for going to college. But her son went back to his room after he was angry with Anna for failing to get into a prestigious school. Her husband first pretended to comfort Anna not to worry about her son's failure and then began to formally urge Anna to hurry up and get a divorce. Anna was heartbroken and suddenly received a call from the university. She was so happy that she thanked and bowed to the other party over the phone. In the evening, she cooked a big meal and announced that she was going to college. Her son was furious when he heard about this woman was about to be dumped by her husband for being uneducated. In order to save her marriage, she stayed up late every night to study and got into the same university as her son. But her son was ashamed of her and called her crazy. Anna, after unremitting efforts, finally got into a university. Excited, she directly made a large table to announce the good news but did not expect her son was angry. Anna sat anxiously on the sofa expecting her husband to say no to divorce. But her husband looked at her with a scornful face. Anna begged her husband. Seeing that his words were not going to work, he fell on his knees and begged Anna to let him go. The next morning, Anna came to the hospital alone for a checkup. When she thought of her husband's divorce, she hoped she was suffering from a terminal illness. "I didn't realize that God would have it her way." Anna really had pancreatic cancer and had only 6 months to live. Anna, who was about to be divorced, had a nervous breakdown and ran away. She ended up crying at a bus stop and didn't even know her cell phone had been stolen. She sat there until late at night before returning home to show her concern for her son, only to be chased away by her impatient son. When her husband saw her come in, he closed the computer in a hurry. When she saw that he didn't care about her, she asked him. Her husband replied coldly. Anna didn't sleep a wink. The indifference of her terminally ill husband and son made her feel like she was left behind by the world. The next day, Anna received a call from the university. Anna took all her anger out on the phone. Anna came to the school in a rage, ready to refund her money. But she saw the students rehearsing a stage play. She thought of her high school self practicing hard for the show and didn't want to regret the 6 months she had left. So she changed her mind and decided to go back to school. She rushed home and found the tuition money her grandmother had prepared for her in her pillow. After paying the tuition, Anna officially became a college student. When she went out, she bumped into her former high school classmate and greeted him warmly. But he scolded her. She was confused and didn't know what she had done to offend him. When choosing her classes, Anna chose a psychology course so that she could talk to her husband, who has a PhD in psychology, and have something in common. In order to save her marriage, she also chose a course on marriage and emotions. Just when Anna thought she was going to start a wonderful college life, she didn't expect to be humiliated on her first day of class. That person was her high school classmate who used to have a crush on. This mom is sneaking off to college. She hides in the urine-smelling bushes every day so that her son doesn't find out. Anna was eating when Jim suddenly appeared to pick a fight with her. She was about to leave when she saw her husband, who was supposed to be working at another university, huddled in a chair in a panic. She puts her hat over her face and prays that her husband doesn't see her. Jim, who had no sense of humor, took the hat away and kept asking what he was doing. When she saw that her husband was gone, Anna relaxed. but Jim found her. Anna was speechless at Jim and turned around and walked away until no one was behind her, and then she dared to call her husband's old workplace and was told. Anna wondered why her husband hadn't told her he'd changed jobs. She didn't have time to think about it, because the most important thing now was to change her psychology class to avoid meeting her husband, who teaches psychology. So she asked for help on the campus website. The students knew that her husband's class was very famous, and they didn't have a spot in the class, so they intentionally swindled Anna out of her class. At that moment, Anna was still calling to ask why the class she wanted to switch to wasn't available. The students who were standing by couldn't help but remind her. At night, Anna was still waiting for her husband to come home. Her husband was startled. Anna said, "I want to ask you something," the husband said anxiously. But Anna said, "Why didn't you tell me you were changing jobs?" The husband was so condescending that he said, "We're already divorced now, aren't we?" Hearing such hurtful words from her husband, Anna felt that the man in front of her was really shameless. The next day, she hid in the quietest place in the university. She looked at her grandmother's picture and couldn't stop her tears from falling. She was not only ostracized but also cheated in the university. "My best friend, Jim, was always pushing me around." Her husband is even more desperate and has been forcing her to get a divorce. She doesn't have much time left. When she looked up, she saw Jim, who she hated. She didn't expect that Jim would ask her to take the class she didn't take. Anna immediately wiped away her tears and asked, "Really?" But Jim said, "I have one condition. If you answer my questions, I'll arrange it for you." Anna's pent-up anger finally erupted. Jim calmly looked at the angry Anna. This sentence immediately made the angry Anna panic. This 40-year-old woman studied hard all night to get into college so she wouldn't be abandoned by her husband. She thought she could win her husband back. Instead, her husband knelt down and forced her to divorce him. On the first day of college, she was publicly humiliated by her high school classmate, Jim. Anna could only say she was a student. After class, Anna angrily called Jim and asked him why he humiliated her in public. But Jim said he could apply for a change of class if he didn't like it. "Although we were classmates before, but now we're in college. We have to call ourselves teachers from now on." Anna was furious and went to her best friend to complain about Jim's rudeness. She said she hadn't seen him for a long time and didn't know why he would do that. Looking at Anna, who came straight to her door without calling in advance to make an appointment, realizing that this poor, downtrodden woman couldn't even afford to use a cell phone, she gave Anna a cell phone. In the evening, when her husband saw Anna looking for something in the study, he immediately asked Anna in a panic, but he intentionally avoided Anna's eyes and sat down on his usual chair. Anna saw that her husband didn't want her to stay here, so she was ready to leave, but she was suddenly stopped by her husband to talk about the formal divorce. Anna asked her husband to give her 3 more months, but her husband's eyes got flustered. Anna said there was no date written on the agreement. The husband was so scared that he immediately checked the agreement and found that there was no exact date written on the agreement. In the end, he had no choice but to agree. Anna looked at her husband, who wanted a divorce, and thought that she was terminally ill and had a short time to live. But she couldn't help but cry. She turned on the faucet for fear that her cries would be heard. The next day, Anna dozed off on the subway, and when she arrived at school, she couldn't find her cell phone, so she had no choice but to go to class first. The girl she just met on the subway suddenly handed her a cell phone. Anna realized that she had left her cell phone on the subway. In class, the teacher asked her to read a famous book and write down her thoughts on it. After class, Anna went straight to the library to find the book she wanted to read. When she was ready to borrow it, she was cut off. Anna felt aggrieved that she was the one who came here first and why she had to borrow it, but the librarian said it was a student's reservation. Anna could only find the teaching assistant before asking a few questions. The teaching assistant got impatient. Anna had no choice but to ask questions. When the students saw her, they thought she was the professor and ran away. In the marriage and emotions class, the teacher asked 2 men and 2 women to form a couple. When she saw that she was being laughed at, she felt sorry for her. After class, she apologized to the student, but he was advised not to attend the class. The ridicule of the students, her son's lack of understanding, Jim's humiliation, and the ostracism of her classmates made Anna think of dropping out of school. At that moment, there were a lot of noises coming from the neighborhood. It turned out to be a club recruitment. Anna wanted to be a quiet passerby but never thought she'd be dragged into a dance. Thinking back to her high school self, Anna was determined to go to college. What would you do if your crush became your student after all these years? This man did something you'd never expect. The man's name is Jim. He found out through his assistant that Anna had been cheated and rushed to find Anna thinking she was crying because she was cheated of her lessons. He came here to help her solve the problem of being cheated, but he couldn't help getting angry when he saw her. Anna apologized to Jim and hoped that he wouldn't give her a hard time anymore and that she wouldn't take his lessons again. At this time, Jim did not agree to Anna's withdrawal from the class, so he hastened to find a reason. Anna was puzzled by his inconsistency. Seeing that he had contacted a psychology professor so that he could attend the psychology class, she stopped talking. Anna was suddenly curious and asked how Jim recognized her husband that day. "I never told him who my husband was or what he looked like." It turned out that Jim found out Anna's husband's name only after she asked her best friend why she quit school, and her husband is the counselor in charge of Jim's program. But Jim just said that a student told him that a psychology teacher is coming here and your husband happens to be a psychology major. so I know that your husband is him and left in a hurry. Back in my office, the assistant pointed to the list of students and thought it was strange that Anna's name appeared in the list even though she had already dropped out of the class. Did Anna reapply again after dropping the class? Jim said lightly that I regretted it and didn't want her to quit the class. The assistant suddenly sat up straight. Jim directly and generously admitted it. At the same time, his first love Anna was being forced to sign a pledge. Anna's husband was afraid that Anna would back out again and made Anna promise that if she went back on her promise, she would automatically give up the only property left to her in the agreement. And he kept on talking about it, irritated by her husband. Anna signed it directly with her fingerprints. On Saturday, Anna saw that her son was still studying until 11 o'clock every night, and he didn't even relax on his day off. She felt sorry for her son's hard work, so she suggested that her son stay home and rest for the day, and she would go out to do some errands without disturbing him. But then her husband suddenly came out and called her son. At the dinner table, the son saw that his father had something to say, so he opened his mouth. The father started the conversation with a fake gorilla and then took out his pocket money and his business card from his wallet and gave it to his son to observe his reaction. Seeing that his son had found the card, he was afraid that his son would object to his working here, so he hurriedly said, "What would you do if you suddenly became terminally ill and had only 6 months to live?" This woman, Anna, came to the nursing home to say goodbye to her grandmothers because she didn't have much time left. She made up an excuse because she didn't want the grandmas to worry. Then Anna helped the grandmothers hang out their clothes. Suddenly, she heard Jim's voice on the radio. He was talking about death on the radio. Anna thought of her husband saying the same thing. She couldn't help but refute it, thinking that she only had 6 months left to live. Anna, who had just been a debating contestant, was now a quiet listener, listening intently to her thoughts on how to live the rest of her life. Anna was inspired to write about her short and tragic life on the bus. She lost her father at a young age, her mother remarried, and she lived with her grandmother. She loved to dance and went to art school. She danced in front of a group of people for the first time, but the last time then she met her husband and got pregnant before she finished high school. She quit school and followed her husband to Germany. She gave birth to her only son in a foreign country. Then she raised her son and finally came back to Korea. And now I have a terminal illness and only 6 months to live. The word gone sums up her life. Anna realized that her life was a failure and threw away her autobiography like it was trash. Standing on a busy street, Anna suddenly regretted. She regretted that because her husband wanted to divorce her, she wanted to be terminally ill. She regretted that she had never done anything in her life. She immediately called her best friend's cell phone. Stimulated, Anna not only shopped a lot, but also printed out study notes and made study plans at the internet cafe. When she got home, Anna was afraid that her husband would find out that she was spending money on impulse and would stop paying for her living expenses. So she put her clothes in the kitchen cabinet. But she didn't realize that there were so many clothes that she couldn't even fit in the cupboard. Then Anna put a leather jacket in the refrigerator. After that, she started to write her last wish, which was to reconcile with her son. Anna went to her son's room and touched the door as if it were her son's. She remembered the few moments she had left with her son. Her second wish was to realize her dream of dancing. At this time, the dance club was being criticized by the president. On the day of the club's recruitment, another club had recruited more than 70 people with dance, but not a single person was recruited to the regular dance club. Anna, the protagonist of the video, came to the dance club in high spirits. She didn't realize that the president was her partner in the marriage class. After exchanging information, Anna remembers that her purpose is to join the dance club. The president looked at Anna incredulously. Anna said sincerely. The president looked at Anna, who was already 38 years old, and tried to get her to quit. When Anna didn't want to quit, she said no. This 38-year-old woman wants to fulfill her last wish by joining a street dance club for young people. And the president of the dance club, who even dares to recruit aliens, but he rejected her outright. Anna said she would come back some other time. And the president was speechless at the fact that Anna wanted to dance at 38 years old. They parted on bad terms. Unexpectedly, they met in the acting class. Because 3 of them were late, the teacher automatically put them into a group, and the 2 who had just left the dance club were forced to be members of the group. After class, the 3 of them had to discuss their group work, and the president directly showed his hand. The remaining 2 could only add WeChat before making plans. After saying goodbye to her classmates, Anna received a text message about the welcome party and rushed to the venue. The welcome party had already started. Seeing an old lady coming over, the originally lively atmosphere became awkward. Everyone's wine glasses were instantly put down. Anna greeted all the students respectfully. The older students treated Anna as warmly as they did the other students and asked her to sit down. One of the freshmen, seeing that everyone was so unnatural, suggested a game to liven up the atmosphere. Just when everyone was getting high, a group announcement turned everyone into bitter faces. It was meant to strengthen the relationship between new students and old students. They didn't realize that the news had leaked out. Experienced seniors were skillfully arranging strategies. They didn't expect an unexpected guest to arrive and skillfully sit between 2 girls. One hand was directly on one girl's shoulder. The other hand was pulling the girl next to him. The original welcome party for new students instantly turned into a hunting ground for old professors. Whenever he sees a pretty girl, he can't help but make a move. At this time, the old professor did not know. His behavior has been filmed. The students all helped the girls to find excuses to leave, but the professor's words blocked them. Who doesn't want to find a good job after 4 years of college? Hearing the professor's secret threat, the others didn't dare to say anything. At this moment, Anna couldn't stand it any longer. The professor's ugly face was immediately exposed by Anna. His eyes immediately panicked. He even said he was caring for his students, and Anna was just slandering him. The boys hurriedly coaxed the angry professor to leave. Anna was a bit flustered when she finished her speech, and she was applauded by all of them. And then Jim saw it. It turned out that the teacher had asked Jim to come over to talk about the project with Anna's husband, because Jim didn't want to work with his rival. He refused the teacher, but the teacher got angry and threatened Jim with the identity of the principal's daughter and the aid money. But Jim rejected him without mercy. The teacher was so angry that he picked up his bag and left, forgetting that he had dropped a pen. And it was this pen that made Jim realize that the teacher had a relationship with Anna's husband. This woman is too strong. She accused the old professor of being unreasonable in front of everyone. The next day in the study hall, when the students saw Anna coming, they made a special seat for her. They all laughed at the professor who had a hard time yesterday. Anna couldn't help but ask. Everyone's face changed when they heard that. The person who saved her life yesterday couldn't help but accuse her. On the other hand, the professor is secretly pressuring a student to save face. The senior knew that the professor wanted Anna to apologize. He came to the study room with a bad look on his face. When he saw the people arguing inside, he immediately became angry. Anna was suddenly confused. Why should she apologize? It was the professor who was unreasonable. The students who had just been complimenting her. But now none of them stood up to speak for her, and all of them lowered their heads. It was noon when Anna went to the cafeteria to eat. But she found that the students who praised her before were now complaining that she was meddling in her own business. Anna lowered her head and found a corner to eat. The president overheard the whispers among her classmates. Anna was so angry that she couldn't eat and left the cafeteria. She couldn't understand what the students were doing, so she went to her peer Jim, thinking that he would blame the students for their inconsistency as he did. Instead, Jim said the students had their own difficulties. Anna asked what she should do. Jim sarcastically told her that she had a husband. Anna was so angry that she said something cruel. She ran away in fear of Jim's retaliation. She didn't even realize that she dropped her notebook. Jim saw it and picked it up and found it was Anna's suicide note. At this time, Anna just walked out of Jim's studio and received a call from the hospital. Anna came to the hospital and the doctor told her that she had been misdiagnosed and was not suffering from a terminal illness. Just after leaving the hospital, Anna couldn't wait to tell her best friend the news. Then she suggested her best friend to make a wish list. She was about to take out her notebook but couldn't find it in her school bag. At this time, Jim already knew that Anna had a terminal illness. When he saw Anna's call, he couldn't bear to hang up the phone of a sick person. What would you do if you were reunited with your first love after so many years and then learned that she was terminally ill? This man's name is Jim. After his first love had a fight with him, inadvertently left a notebook. Jim picked it up and saw her suicide note. He realized that Anna is now terminally ill and has only 5 months to live. Jim, who was still angry, was so upset that he canceled all his plans today. He began to study Anna's wish list, but found that none of the wishes were about her husband and was puzzled. On the other side of the table, Anna was still upset that she lost her notebook because it had a lot of study notes on it. My best friend was shocked when she heard that Anna had recovered from her illness. Why did she still want to go to school, and what if her husband and son found out? Anna calmly took out a piece of paper. The girlfriend asked Anna about the divorce. At this time, Anna had already died once. Anna had already died once and was no longer crying because of the divorce. She didn't care. At the entrance of the neighborhood, Anna met her son. She ran like a young man and jumped at her son. The son was startled by Anna and smelled the alcohol on Anna's breath. At that moment, her husband also met them. He was about to accuse Anna of drinking. Anna just ignored him. The next day, Jim secretly followed Anna. He wanted to find the perfect time to return Anna's book. Instead, he found a student asking Anna about it. After that, Anna was ostracized by her classmates. When she saw students on the road, she was ready to greet them, but they ignored her as if she were an airhead. Then Anna went to the dance club. She wanted to have dinner with the president to finish the couple assignment in the marriage class. The president just finished eating and asked Anna to call ahead. Outside the door, Jim was thinking about how to make Anna find this book. When Anna suddenly came out, Jim hid in the toilet for fear of exposing his face and held the door tightly. Seeing that he wasn't discovered, he continued to follow Anna. Seeing that Anna had bought a boxed lunch, Jim went straight to Anna's usual eating place and put his notebook on a chair reasonably, waiting for Anna to find it. But he was afraid that the notebook would be picked up by others and secretly put it in the grass where Anna often passes by. This 38-year-old mom has finally started her own rebound. Risked getting kicked out of school by emailing her professor directly and threatening to resign. She made her first friend in college. After Anna finally settled into college life, she came to the dance club to complete the couple's task in the marriage emotions class. When she saw her classmates rehearsing the dance, she couldn't help but dance. By chance, the recruiter of the dance club saw her. Realizing that Anna was the one she was looking for, she sent a message to the president. Anna was being interviewed for the dance club, and when she turned around and realized it was the president, she explained that she had been asked to come to the interview and didn't mean to cause trouble for him. The president said, "Since we've gone through the process, then you should join." Then the two of them had dinner and took pictures to complete the couple's mission. At the dinner table, Anna thanked the president for speaking up for her in the class. The president was a bit shy now. Such a harmonious scene was seen by the assistant. As if taking credit, she quickly told Jim. The assistant was very happy. Anna was finally able to lead a normal college life with her help. After the assistant left, she met Anna's husband on the road. In order to leave Anna with good memories of her love, he gave Anna's husband the tickets to the stage show he was going to see with his mother. He also asked Anna's husband to go with his lover to see the show. On the other hand, after the club activities, Anna's son caught her secretly going to college. She knew that she was going to be criticized. As expected, she was scolded by her husband when she got home in the evening. Anna looked apologetic, but was adamant that she wouldn't drop out. Hearing her son's voice, the two of them had to part on bad terms. Then Anna went to her son's room. His son didn't understand that he wanted to quit school. Anna patiently assured her son that she would never affect his school life, and even if she met him, she would treat him as a stranger. Seeing that her son couldn't get through to her, Anna, who used to be gentle, didn't say anything else and went back to her room. Anna's husband wanted to talk to Anna again, but the door was locked. Anna wouldn't open the door even if he knocked on it. The next day when Anna came out of her room, she saw her father and son sitting on the sofa, ready to criticize her. She just ignored them and left the house. When she got to school, Jim gave Anna 2 tickets to a stage play as part of her salary. Then Jim saw Anna off, but then he saw Anna ignoring his son. Anna's husband, who was sitting in the car, saw it all. He went to Jim's office and asked him if he knew about Anna's schooling and why he didn't tell him. Jim's reply was a direct rebuff. He left Anna's husband speechless. After the uninvited guest left, Jim went back to the studio to work. He sought his assistant, who was supposed to be watching a play. The assistant explained that she gave the tickets to Anna's husband in order to help them get along. Jim was confused. A big show was about to take place on the stage. This man has prepared tickets to a famous stage show for his first love, who has a dream of dancing. Unexpectedly, he found out that his first love's husband was also going to see the show with someone else. Jim called Anna but couldn't get through to her. Jim rushed to the stage show, but Anna had already seen her husband taking care of another woman. Jim hurriedly covered Anna's eyes to prevent her from being stimulated, but Anna pushed her away to see what was going on. But she didn't realize that her husband was suddenly coming towards her. Anna panicked and ran away. Jim followed her and tried to comfort her, but she refused because she wanted to calm down. Walking alone, she thought back to 2 years ago when her husband filed for divorce because he thought she was ignorant. At that time, she felt sorry for her husband because she was uneducated, but she didn't realize that her husband had already changed. Jim was worried about Anna, so he secretly drove with her. When he saw his girlfriends accompanying Anna, Jim stood behind them silently, listening to Anna cry to her best friend about her grievances over the past 20 years. Jim returned to the studio in anger. When he saw this, his assistant asked him about the situation. Jim blamed the assistant for giving the ticket to Anna's husband and felt sorry that he didn't protect Anna. On the other hand, Anna pretended not to have done so and tidied up her son's room as usual. When she came home, her husband called Anna to his study and forced her to divorce and quit school. Anna looked at her husband in front of her and felt disgusted. She didn't want to stay here for a minute. The next day, Jim bumped into Anna's husband and asked him if he had gone to the show with Anna, and Anna's husband lied that he had something to do and gave the tickets away. Jim wanted to punch this lying man when he saw him, but when he saw Anna coming, he held back his nausea and left. Jim came to the club and saw that Anna was in poor health but still tried to clean up the house and thought about how painful Anna's heart must be. Jim wanted to relieve Anna's pain, so he called Anna's best friend. The girlfriend was puzzled why Jim came to her. Jim said he knew Anna had a terminal illness and had read the wish Anna had written on her suicide note, so he wanted to ask his girlfriend to help him to fulfill Anna's wish. The girlfriend gladly agreed to do so. Remembering that Anna had complained about Jim's bullying, she didn't tell Jim about the misdiagnosis. On April 1st, April Fool's Day, all the students in the university would wear their high school uniforms to play. My best friend dragged Anna to change into her school uniform. They came to an open space. Anna found Jim, who was also wearing a school uniform. Jim calmly said he wanted to take them out. The 3 adults were walking around in their high school uniforms. Anna's husband saw them and stopped the car to watch them. This professor wanted to fulfill his first love's wish. In order to fulfill his first love's wish, this professor wore his high school uniform and took his first love around the school, and this scene was seen by the husband of his first love. Jim also saw Anna's husband driving his car and squeezed in between Anna and her best friend. He put his arm around Anna's shoulder to annoy her husband. The 3 of them walked to their high school. They saw their high school friends again. Anna had a questioning look on her face. The man said it was a day trip to high school memories arranged by Jim, so the 4 of them went to the place where they went to class before. Thinking of their high school memories, they walked to the place where they first met. Anna and her best friend were not friends at all. It turns out that Anna's grandmother is the owner of a fried rice cake store. Anna's grandmother was afraid that Anna would be ridiculed and ostracized by her classmates because of her family's rice cake business. So she told Anna to act like a stranger in front of her classmates, and for her best friend to stay in shape for the dance. She only ordered 5 rice cakes at a time, but Anna's grandmother always gave her a lot of rice cakes, so her best friend bullied Anna. The 4 of them made good memories at school and went to a period bar to dance. There's no such thing as an unfinished banquet. The 4 of them said goodbye at the bus stop. Jim and Anna rode the bus together in their school uniforms and were watched like monkeys. Anna was a bit embarrassed to hide behind Jim, but she didn't expect the driver to brake sharply. Anna directly hugged Jim from behind. At that moment, there was an empty seat in front of Jim, so he let Anna sit down. Anna was a bit shy because of the hug just now. She didn't know where to put her eyes, so she looked out the window, and Jim's eyes were also staring at the window of the car, looking at Anna's reflection on the glass. After getting off the bus, Jim gave Anna a ride home. Anna said not to. Anna felt that this day was like a lie, because Anna has always been tired of living. But today she met her high school friends after a long time and did what she always wanted to do. It felt like a dream. Jim looked at Anna's happy back and said quietly that he hoped Anna could live like this forever. Anna was waiting for the elevator when she spotted her son, who was also wearing a school uniform. She couldn't help worrying about what she would do if her husband found out. As expected, what you worry about comes true. Mother and son sneaked into the house, but her husband, who had been waiting, caught them in the act. He asked them why they were wearing school uniforms. Anna's encouragement for her son to go to the bar made Anna's husband feel unreasonable and not like a parent. But Anna said she had to combine her studies with her work and went to her room. Anna's husband tried to say something, but Anna shut him out. The next morning, Jim sent a text message asking Anna to work in the studio at night. However, in order to get rid of her husband's money control, Anna found a part-time job in a supermarket and went there in the evening, forgetting about her date with Jim. When Jim saw that Anna hadn't come over yet, he called her. As soon as he heard that Anna was working part-time, he ran to the supermarket to look for Anna and dragged her out. This woman is bravely divorced at nearly 40 and reaps the benefits of her first love's confession. Fearing that she'll make the same mistake again, she refuses. This time they meet again. Anna and Jim went back to their hometown to pay tribute to their deceased grandmother. Anna was cooking in the courtyard and looked at the familiar courtyard. She can't help remembering the dance rehearsals they had here 20 years ago. How come Jim, who was shy and introverted at the beginning, has become so poisonous now? It's a shame that I encouraged him all along. We even wrote a time capsule together. Anna was suddenly interested in seeing if the time capsule was still there, but when she went back to the original place, she couldn't remember where she buried it. Then Jim suddenly appeared. He reminded her that it was under the tree. Anna excitedly picked up a branch on the ground and dug out the memories after 20 years. When Anna saw the bottle, she gently wiped the dirt off the bottle. Anna carefully picked up the bottle and asked Jim if he wanted to see it together. Anna opened Jim's bottle first. She realized that she had always existed in Jim's future. Anna was very touched and opened her own bottle. She found that she had written on a piece of paper the person she wanted to focus on. Anna suddenly remembered that the card Jim sent her had written to the person I used to care about. She realized that Jim had remembered everything about her and that she had failed him for more than 20 years. She quickly got up and chased after the disheartened Jim. It turned out that Jim had come to honor Anna's grandmother after his military service. At that time, both his parents had died and he was about to study in Russia. He didn't know if he'd come back, so he looked at the time capsule, thinking of Anna's betrayal. He wanted to throw these things away, but he couldn't bear to part with them. After Jim finished speaking, he turned around and left. Anna hurriedly hugged Jim from behind to prevent him from leaving. Tears of remorse welled up in her eyes. Jim, who had been rejected many times, asked Anna indifferently. The two of them finally untied their hearts and hugged each other tightly. Then they went to Anna's grandmother's grave and told her the good news that they were together. Jim exclaimed that Anna had finally come to her senses after 3 months and 10 days. Anna couldn't help but blame Jim for not coming to see her for so long. Jim also confessed to Anna. He had asked his girlfriends and friends to take good care of Anna. This encounter was also planned with them. Anna was puzzled and asked Jim why he did that. On the other hand, Anna's ex-husband was exiled to a rural university. He didn't even have time to change his torn clothes and worked all night on his academic thesis. In the daytime, he was busy teaching the students. On the day of Jim's performance, Anna dressed up and brought food. She brought food to the performance venue to offer her condolences. When Jim saw her, she scolded the president who came with. This professor didn't even let his wife attend the funeral of his only relative in order to make a name for himself. When Anna found out, she slapped her husband twice, then went to her grandmother's rice cake store and found it closed. She cried in front of the store until midnight. When she got home, her husband finally realized his conscience. He handed Anna the divorce papers. Anna was officially divorced. She went to the man's fried rice cake store. She used the smell of fried rice cake to miss her deceased grandmother. She even missed her grandmother so much that she couldn't sleep at night looking at her memories. That's how Anna came to work at the studio again. After Jim and the producers had a meeting, they were going to have a dinner party and asked Anna to come along. Anna said she didn't feel well and refused. Jim left his cell phone at the studio. When we were about to eat, He asked his assistant to call Anna and ask her to bring her cell phone over and have dinner with him. The assistant thought of Jim's favoritism towards Anna as a rival. She finally did not call Anna and lied to Jim that Anna had gone home. After the dinner, Jim returned to the studio. He found Anna sleeping on the sofa in a sweaty state. Jim thought that Anna's condition was not right during the day, so he quickly touched Anna's forehead. As expected, Anna had a fever. So Jim took out a blanket and medicine to take care of Anna and used an ice towel to cool her down. Because fever-reducing medicine can't be taken on an empty stomach, Jim also boiled congee and fed it to Anna. Jim took good care of Anna for the whole night. In the morning, Anna woke up to find Jim at her side. Looking at the things on the table, she realized that Jim had been taking care of her the whole night. Looking at Jim's sleeping appearance, Anna couldn't help but reach out and tweak Jim's bangs. After seeing Jim's subconscious reaction, Anna suddenly became rational and fled the scene. Jim heard the door slamming and realized that Anna had disappeared, so he hurriedly chased after her. When he saw Anna getting into a cab, he called Anna and asked her where she was. Anna lied that she went home in the early morning. Jim wanted to continue to ask Anna to find a reason to hang up the phone hurriedly. Jim was confused and didn't understand why Anna lied. Thinking of the morning Anna seems to ruffle his hair and realized that Anna should like his own. Thinking of this, Jim could not help but giggle on the street. When he returned to the studio, he found that his assistant had already arrived, so he told him to prepare the teaching aids for the class. The assistant saw traces of someone sleeping on the sofa. The only person who could make Jim agree to sleep here was Anna. Knowing that her lie had been exposed, she nervously apologized to Jim, but Jim said that when the show was over, he'd let the assistant start her own business and stop helping him. The scene changes and Anna's husband asks Jim to meet him, announcing that he and Anna are divorced. He asks Jim in a provocative manner, "You don't know about this, do you? Why didn't Anna tell you about this? It means that Anna doesn't like you." Jim asked Anna's husband what he wanted to do. Anna's husband officially declared war on Jim. The reason why he divorced Anna is that he wants to forget about the past and pursue Anna again. This stifled housewife finally stood up to her husband. She refused her husband's threats and decided to go to college. In order to get rid of her husband's financial control, she found a part-time job. That day Anna was working at the supermarket, but Jim suddenly dragged her out of the door. Jim angrily asked Anna why she was working when she was terminally ill, but Anna said she was misdiagnosed and didn't have the disease. Jim finally sat down on the floor with a sigh of relief. Anna woke up early in the morning to thank Jim for taking care of her and made rice with seaweed. When Anna's husband saw it, he thought Anna loved him too much. He thought Anna loved him so much that she made it to win back his feelings and asked Anna why she made so many boxed lunches. Unexpectedly, Anna said it was specially made for Jim. Anna's husband couldn't help but be jealous. When Anna went back to her room, Anna's husband couldn't help but pick up one and taste it. It tasted good and took a few more as if he was a thief. When Anna got to school, she wanted to give her son the food she'd made, but when she thought of the promise she made to her son to pretend to be strangers at school, so she gave the prepared lunch to her son's girlfriend and was curious about her son's relationship, so she secretly followed her son's girlfriend. When she saw her son eating happily, she was ready to leave. Then she saw her husband walking towards her son. Anna immediately ran to the place where her son was dating. She grabbed her son's girlfriend and ran away. The son was puzzled, but when he turned his face, he saw his father. The son sent his father away and waited anxiously for his girlfriend. When he saw his girlfriend coming back, he asked Anna what she said. He was relieved to hear that Anna didn't reveal their relationship. Then Anna received a text message from her son asking her to meet him. As soon as they met, the son couldn't wait to ask Anna how she knew she was in love. It turns out that Anna saw her son's fight with his girlfriend the day he had it. The son asked Anna why she didn't tell his father that she was in love and let him scold her, but Anna said she thought her son should enjoy his youth. After talking to her son, Anna went to the studio to look for Jim. Who would have thought that last night Jim would be thankful that Anna didn't get cancer? But then he told Anna not to look for him anymore. Anna was puzzled. Isn't there a lot of work to be done here? Jim was merciless and said that he was making excuses because he pitied Anna. Anna said, "Aren't we friends? We've made up before." She didn't expect Jim to say that in cold blood. Anna was also not convinced. One minute this man is thanking God that his first love won't die. The next minute, he's bad-mouthing his first love and kicking her out. It turns out that Jim went to Anna's best friend after he found out about Anna's misdiagnosis. He asked her why she didn't tell him about Anna's misdiagnosis, but she said that Jim had bullied Anna so much in school and this time, she was just trying to get back at Jim, and we were all having a good time. Jim asked her again, does Anna still want to live her life looking at her husband's eyes after all these experiences? After hesitating for a long time, she didn't tell Jim about the divorce papers. She just said it's Anna's business and asked Jim not to interfere. Jim felt like a fool wasting his time and energy for a misdiagnosed person. He wasted so much time and energy for a misdiagnosed person. Early in the morning, Anna went to the locker door to get her belongings. Unexpectedly, she met Jim, who came to pick a fight with her. Jim urged Anna to move out quickly. Anna was tired of being pushed. Anna kicked the locker door and left in anger. Jim was about to lock the locker, but then he saw the cell phone Anna left behind. Then Jim put on a bad smile and locked the locker. Jim went back to the studio and had his assistant send the final draft of the project to Anna's husband. He told Anna's husband that he had been kicked out of his project and wanted to get Anna and her husband out of his life. Anna's husband came to the studio in a rage with the final draft. He asked Jim if it was because because of Anna that he had been playing with him. Then Anna realized her cell phone was missing and rushed to her locker to look for it, borrowed someone's cell phone and called herself to make sure it was locked in the locker, and then looked for Jim again. Jim pretended he didn't hear it and was about to drive away. Anna rushed to catch up. When Jim saw that Anna was about to catch up with him, he drove a few steps away from the car and then stopped. He waited for Anna to catch up and then drove the car again and so on, teasing Anna back and forth. He stopped the car only when he saw that Anna was getting angry. Anna anxiously asked Jim for the keys to the locker. Jim said he had to leave for a class. Anna waited for Jim to finish his acting class. After class, Anna chased after Jim for the key, but Jim said he left the key in the office. Anna was afraid that the phone number for the part-time job wouldn't find her, so she said she'd go to the office to get the keys. But Jim said, when Anna heard that, she was very sad and was afraid of being discovered, so she ran to the toilet and cried. I didn't expect the teacher to hear her. The teacher left in a hurry for fear of embarrassing the crying. She even forgot her cell phone. Anna heard a cell phone ringing and rushed to catch up with the teacher, but then a courier handed Anna a huge bouquet of flowers. After Anna received the flowers, the teacher next to her couldn't help gossiping about the person who sent the flowers. Anna also wondered who was the sender, but Anna ruled out her husband first, because Anna's husband would give Anna a small red packet on her birthday every year. Anna happily put the flowers in a vase. This was the first bouquet of flowers Anna had ever received in her life. She couldn't help but smell the flowers. On the other hand, Jim received a text message that the flower delivery was successful. He realized that he had forgotten to cancel the flowers he had ordered earlier. Then he thought of the words he wrote on his business card and felt remorseful. For the first time in her life, this 40-year-old woman defied her husband's orders. She tore to shreds the application form that her husband had forced upon her. Without looking back, she started her exciting college life. Anna was relieved when she got on the bus without her husband. Her heart was pounding because of what she had just done to her husband. On the other hand, when her husband got back to the office, he recalled the incident at the restaurant and thought that Anna was trying to get her back. A woman who knows that her husband is in a new relationship and still refuses to say anything about it. Isn't it because she loves herself too much? Anna's husband couldn't wait to get home in the evening. He waited for Anna in his room. He wanted to cut off Anna's feelings for him completely. As soon as he saw Anna come back, he said. The next morning, Jim was afraid that Anna would be bullied by her husband if he didn't work with her anymore. So he drove his car early in the morning and waited for Anna in front of the university. When he saw Anna coming, he immediately got out of the car to talk to her. Jim wanted to see Anna's reaction to this matter, but he didn't expect Anna to change the subject. Anna saw that Jim could not say anything and blamed Jim for screwing up her part-time job. Jim knew he was in the wrong, so he tried to save face by making a sarcastic remark to Anna on his way out. Then Jim went to the teacher's office and told him about Anna's husband quitting the program. When the teacher didn't react, he added more fuel to the fire. On the other hand, Anna's husband, seeing that Anna was not going to do anything about it, approached his son to persuade him to give up on the college program. But to his surprise, his son agreed that Anna should continue to go to college. He didn't expect his son to agree to Anna going to college. Anna's husband was still trying to persuade his son to stand with him when he received a text message from his teacher asking him to meet him. When they met, the teacher questioned Anna's husband. Why did you quit Jim's program? Anna's husband calmly explained that he was just a fixture in Jim's program and had no use for it. But the teacher said, at night, Anna's husband returned to his study. A man's pride is such that he doesn't want to be a fixture in another man's program. So he pitched the project to another big group in the hope of getting capital to help him do something big to impress his father. This man has not only been kicked out of a cooperative project but also accused by his girlfriend of not being able to work. At the same time, his illiterate wife, whom he dislikes, is enjoying a wonderful college life. Anna watched the members rehearsing the dance for the school festival. She was also memorizing the steps in her mind. At that moment, a girl suddenly sprained her foot. When everyone didn't know what to do, Anna used her previous experience in dancing to bandage her foot. Anna's skillful operation won the favor of the other members of the club. On the other hand, every time the assistant goes out, she would always go to the man's fried rice cake store. She would pack Jim's favorite fried rice cake. Unexpectedly, the man teased her about how long she had to wait for Jim. 2 years ago, after the assistant failed to confess to Jim, she stayed by Jim's side as his assistant. Unfortunately, Jim's heart is always Anna. The assistant just gave the fried rice cake to Jim, and then Jim gave it to Anna, but she was too embarrassed to say so. Anna touched the lunchbox and felt it was freshly made, so she asked Jim why he threw the food away. But Jim said it was up to you to throw it away. Although Anna was not happy with Jim, but still could not bear to waste food. When she opened the lunchbox and tasted it, she realized that it tasted like her grandmother's cooking. So she called Jim and asked him where he bought the fried rice cake. Jim then asked his assistant not to tell Anna the address of the store. The assistant was puzzled as to why he couldn't tell Anna the address of the store. It turns out that Jim was very close to Anna's grandmother in high school. He often came to the store for meals. Anna ran to Jim's office again and anxiously asked for the address of the rice cake store. saying she really missed her grandmother's flavor. Anna was flabbergasted. Then she went to her best friend. She asked about Jim's relationship with her grandmother and realized that Jim had stayed at her funeral for 3 days straight. Anna then realized why Jim's attitude towards her was so inconsistent. Anna looked at her wish list and saw that all her wishes had been fulfilled with Jim's help. The next day, Anna thanked Jim loudly at school for everything he had done for her. When Jim heard that Anna was finally moving away from him, he was a little annoyed that he was being too careful. After all, in high school, everyone laughed at Jim's dreams, and Anna was the only one who encouraged him. It's a shame to bully Anna like that. Jim went to Anna again in the evening and they made up in front of the convenience store. Jim invited Anna to help him in his studio because he messed up her work before. This woman gave up her child for love. At 18, she gave birth to a child in a foreign country and took care of the child by herself. She had no one to help her when she was sick. She spent all her time and energy on her child at a very young age. She didn't even go to her grandmother's funeral. But in return, her husband disliked her for being uneducated and gave her a divorce decree. Anna is now finally living the college life that was 20 years late and has found a part-time job to get rid of her husband's financial control. One day, a part-time girl complained to Anna about her boss's deduction of her salary. When Anna heard this, she was very angry and wanted to take the girl to get a redress. Anna came to her part-time job in a fancy dress. She even asked the president to pretend to be a bodyguard to scare people. Under Anna's powerful aura, the black-hearted boss settled the wages of the part-timers. The president also admired Anna even more. On the day of the school festival, the girls from the dance club couldn't go on stage because of swollen feet. The president asked Anna to help. Anna ran away because she was afraid of losing face. Unexpectedly, Jim saw this scene. Jim encouraged Anna to be brave and go on stage. To make up for missing Anna's performance 20 years ago, it turns out that Jim was the director of Anna's program back then. When the program was about to go on stage, Jim missed Anna's show when he got a call that his father had fainted. Finally, Anna had the courage to go on stage under Jim's persuasion. Anna's performance on the stage was amazing. Jim remembers his old memories. During rehearsals, Jim was always teased by the others. Only Anna always encouraged him. They even wrote a time capsule to wish each other well. Jim wanted to confess his love to Anna after the show, but something happened to his father and he missed the chance. It was also on this day that Anna's husband was captivated by Anna's dancing. After the dance, Jim fled the scene without a word of greeting. He took out the letter of confession after 20 years. Jim realized that he still loved Anna as much as he did at the beginning. After the school festival, Anna returned to the stage, imagining her younger self performing. She cried so loudly that she couldn't fulfill her dream anymore. The next day, Anna made a special lunchbox to thank Jim so that Jim and his assistant could eat it together, and Jim treated Anna's food as if it was a delicacy he didn't want to share with others. He ate the same amount of food for 2 people. Jim's good mood didn't last long when he was informed by his teacher that he had to attend a 2-day and 1-night seminar with Anna's husband. Jim had no choice but to tell his assistant to pack his bags and attend the seminar with him tomorrow. On the other hand, Anna's son was struggling with his grades. If his grades are too low, his father will send him to the army. His girlfriend asks what the criteria for grades are. The son had forgotten, so on the day of his seminar, he went to his father's study to look for the promise he'd written. To his surprise, he found his parents' divorce papers. This son accidentally found out that his father disliked his mother's lack of education and wanted a divorce. He tries to persuade him to get back together, but his father dislikes him. The son left his father's study in disappointment. When he returned to his room, he found his mother cleaning up his room and his feelings of frustration welled up. Anna proudly told her son that she bought this quilt with the first money she earned. Anna froze when she heard what her son said. Then her son took out the divorce papers and said he knew all about it from his best friend. Anna apologized and explained that she was going to tell her son about it after she had enjoyed her college life, but her son said it would be too late for him to spend the rest of his life with Anna. They hugged and cried. After their hearts were finally broken, Anna talked to her son about the divorce, hoping that he would agree with her decision. Her son remembered that Anna was so talented on the stage at the school festival, but she had spent half of her life running for this family, so he decided to let Anna go and let her live a normal life. The next day, Anna asked her husband to meet her at a restaurant. Right away, she asked her husband if he had any classes today. Anna's husband was caught off guard as he was the one who filed for divorce. Why were their positions completely reversed? He heard Anna say that she knew what he had done. The person who really saw him watching the play with another woman that day was not Anna's best friend, but Anna's husband felt that his dignity was being challenged and suddenly he didn't want to get a divorce, so he threatened his son. With the support of her son, Anna insisted on divorce. Anna's husband said that he had an appointment and fled in a panic while Anna was answering the phone. He even misidentified his car. Anna's husband rejected Anna's request for a divorce and ordered a flower basket for the teacher. The card he wrote was accidentally dropped. The teacher who received the flowers mistook the sender for Jim, so she drove straight to Jim to ask him what he was up to. She didn't expect to accidentally bump into Jim and Anna walking closely side by side and felt that their relationship was not simple. She remembered that Jim once said that there was once a woman who was his ideal type. Then she investigated Anna's identity. She found out that her boyfriend was Anna's husband. Then the teacher went straight to Anna's husband to ask for punishment, but Anna's husband put all the blame on Anna, saying that she liked him so much that she went to college secretly without the whole family. He only found out about it a while ago. Seeing the teacher in a bad mood, Anna's husband rushed to comfort the teacher and tried to find a solution to the problem and even ordered a flower basket for the teacher. She suddenly recalled what Jim had said. She realized that Jim knew everything. She was so angry that she fell on the sofa. Anna's husband saw that the situation was not good, so he hurried away.